I'm here to talk about a game that we're developing currently. It is a games as a service game, and I'll define that later on. And yeah, that's what I'll do. But as a brief introduction, thank you for the intro earlier. But just so you have an idea, I've been in the game industry for almost 8 years now. And I'm involved in a lot of different things in the game development process. I do creatives with a team. I do business development, and I'm also involved in production. And our core competency is online and mobile games. More on online. We're currently transitioning and building up our expertise in mobile. And we typically do a lot of work for hire outsourced projects, but we've been transitioning to independent games. Okay, so this talk is about our design philosophies when developing our own tactics game. So, quick history. Indigo Entertainment, we started around 2008. But my story is I got into games around 2004, 2004, because I played this game called Digis Online. It's now called Tactics Arena Online. I love that game. All right. So, and because of that, I said, "Oh my gosh, I have to make a game. I have to make a game just like this." Okay, and then from there, a year later, I formed a four-man development team to build that tactics game that I thought of. Okay, how to make that game that I played much better in my view. 2006, we failed miserably, as in, yeah, my lead developer left for some other job somewhere out of the country. A couple of artists left also, and I scrambled and basically turned my investment into some other venture, which basically was the start of my outsourcing outfit. I started offering my what I learned in game dev as a service. Right? I started offering game development services to advertising agencies where we actually promote and develop advert games for them. And then 2008. Working with brands is very tiring. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but it's very tiring. So we just decided, hey, let's stop doing our advert games. Let's just focus on games. So and then 2009, Facebook happened. Fantastic. We had lots of projects. So we were alive. And up to now, we've been doing a lot of work for hire projects with a lot of different companies around the world. And as mentioned earlier, we are transitioning to independent games. And that's a picture of our office. Yeah, okay. Moving on. So, last year, we decided to focus more on indie. Bless you. Okay, and we were looking at the industry, and we were thinking of, we found that there are three main branches on independent games, right? Those that seem to have been making money. The first track, so on the left, is it's a model we call Model 1, where it's a free game with ads. And Model 2 is free with a full version afterwards. And then Model 3 is free with in-app purchases, or what we commonly know as freemium. So for all of these tracks, we have a specific project. Actually, there's more in the pipeline. It's just that these are the ones that are closer to completion. Well, these are the ones that are more in progress already. So the first one's Hyper Games. It's on soft launch right now, just to see if we have any issues, and so we can clean it out. Dashing Knight's still in prototype stage, but it's there. And today I'm talking about Mashup Tactics. It's a turn-based tactics game in progress, and it's alpha. We're trying to release it later this year. Okay. So what is Mashup Tactics? It's a mobile game. We plan to release it on iOS and Android devices. In this game, you can collect your different types of units. You can create and build a squad. It's turn-based. It's a tactics game, obviously, and it has single and PvP modes. Right? So we're trying to jam pack a lot of things in that game, just the way I like it. Okay. Now, what makes our game different from others is because we are able to mix a lot of different themes in a game. Typically, when you say tactics game, they feature a specific theme. It could be fantasy, it could be space age, it could be something else. And for us, we felt like, hey, it would be cool to actually see a rainbow unicorn warrior partnered up with a steampunk Dracula vampire with a superhero and so on and so forth. And all of each of these characters would have their own mechanics, according to their theme, and I think it would be fun. So that's what we set out to do, right? So in addition to that, we have the game will, as mentioned earlier, the game will be monetized with in-app purchases, and we do have live ops to make the game more fun for to have tournaments and events for the game, and yes, we definitely do plan to release expansions. Okay, so just to be clear on what we define tactics games to be, so yeah, so these are some good examples. I got introduced to tactics games when I played Final Fantasy Tactics. Have you guys played this game? Yeah, fantastic game, right? Right, okay. I love this game because it had so many options, but the thing that I was looking for it was that after you finish the game, you can't play it anymore, right? I wanted some sort of continuity, and I couldn't get it from there, but unless, of course, I play the game again. Next is Advance Wars. Very cool game. This one had continuity. You can just play a bunch of games after you play through the storyline. But for me, I wanted more variety. I didn't want just modern units or military themes. I wanted more, right? And Tactics Arena, the one that inspired this entire project, did it wonderfully. It's basically similar to what we're doing right now, except that it's online and it focused on fantasy units, right? So I played this game like 10, 12 years ago, and they were doing games as a service right then. Okay, this was the time when MMORPGs were great, were huge, and everyone was playing it. They were doing tactics, right? So they were doing something different. It actually caught my eye, and now I'm here talking about us making games similar to it. Okay. Right. So I defined what tactics games are. I just want to be clear on what games as a service are for us, right? And in comparison to what a product is. Sorry. So what traditional games are. So on the first column, you'll see what we think of games as a service is. So it's basically a game that you develop to have an experience for players that you intend them to consume it continuously and on a regular basis, long term. So you play one game now. If they like it, if they stick to it, they'll keep on playing it for years and years to come. Okay, we want that kind of loyalty. We want that kind of market. And we would have live ops, wherein this is essentially, think of these guys as it's your live ops team. Think of these guys as your events managers. Okay, so they will create events for your player base, so that it's something that would create these events so that your player base will actually be excited, will look forward to a tournament, and basically spend more money to actually play in that tournament, right? And then, yes, we want our game to grow. We also need to have new content for our players so that they find, okay, a quick, so they find something new to play with. So it's exciting for them. And games as a service is usually free. So it's easy to acquire more users that way. Okay, and as a comparison, games as a product, we have traditional games, they normally have when they're purchased, they are normally intended to be consumed in one session, if not multiple sessions. But after that, you're done, and then usually no new content or mechanics, and usually acquired as a premium. Okay, so that's done. So these are some examples. I'm sure some of you have been playing these games. Yes. No one's been playing these games. Okay, right. But these are fantastic games. Take my word for it. Okay. So Clash of Clans, Hearthstone, and King of Thieves. Okay. So this is a game. Sorry, I wasn't able to come up with a video for you guys, but this is what I have so far. So this is the lobby, and as you can see, we have a lot of different sections that you can actually go. We have the story mode, we have missions, multiple missions. I'll tell you more about that later. A PvP online mode where you can challenge other players asynchronously. So your squad builder, we can actually create your squad. Splice chamber, where you can actually level up your character, so you can do crafting with your units. Shop, so where we make our money. And the gallery, where you can actually see more information about your units. The thing on the lower left, the offline ops is basically our special missions, wherein you play them and then you get bigger rewards. But if you're not playing a special mission, you go for a regular mission, you get to get lower rewards. I'll explain that to you later. Okay, moving forward. So mobile players So here we basically described, based on our research, we described mobile gamers to be the following, and I'll go through that one at a time. And that's just to make things simple. We just wrote it down, right? So it's mobile players, we believe, are very busy people, right? They want quick gaming experiences. They want snacks. Typically, right? They want to play games that they can play while waiting for while waiting for coffee, or while they are waiting to speak to to talk to the speaker in the conference, or when they're bored, they're doing something in a meeting. That's what they would be doing. They like to multitask. So they like to multitask, and so they typically do something, and then they want to do something while that's happening. So what we did with our game was we made it turn-based, so that whenever they want to do something else, they can just switch off and then switch to that game and then come back to it. Another option that we actually did include in the game was we added an auto battle mode, wherein they don't actually have to strategize anymore. They can see how their team or squad actually goes against the AI of the other of the other opposing unit. And we also made sure that the controls for our games are very, very efficient and very, very quick. Because designing for mobile is compared to a traditional game where you play on consoles or on PCs, are very, very different. Our first iteration of the game, in order to make a move, you would have to go to 13, 15 different types of steps. If you guys played Final Fantasy Tactics, the first step you'd do is you'd select a unit, and then select a move, and then after that you select a target, maybe select a place where you actually put him in, and then after that you decide which ability to use. After that you decide where he's supposed to face. Here we made it simple. You select a unit, and then once you select a unit, you already know where you can actually put him in. The blue area would be where he can actually walk. Red area where he can actually attack right away. And as a player, you can just choose which one. You don't have to specify if you're going to move here first and then you're going to attack. If you press a red area, it's going to move on its own, and then it's going to attack right away. Then after that, you don't have to select another unit or the next unit anymore. The game will automatically move to the next unit. So it basically makes the game experience much, much faster. Okay. Next, players just want to play. And so this is what we did. So we don't want to make them wait. Okay. I have a friend, and he's married, and his wife went away. Getting there. His wife went away and for some conference, and he had an entire weekend all for himself, right? So he wanted to use that weekend to just play the games, and he booted up this fantastic game that he's been hearing about, and he found out that, oh, I can't play a game because I don't have enough energy, right? So we devised a way to basically have players play games even if they don't have enough energy. Hence, we included missions that you can play even if you don't have energy, and if you do have energy, and if there's time for you to play it, then you can go for those special missions. Okay, you have regular missions and special missions, and each have different tiers of rewards. And then when you do and when they do wait, then you will be able. You should reward them for succeeding in that special mission and for actually waiting for you to play that game. Okay. We also gave online PvP just so that people can just play against their friends. Or if they don't want to play with their friends, they can just play with the AI. If they don't want to play just a quick game, then they can go through story mode. Okay. We also have an offline PvP game where you can actually do you can pass the device around. So there's plenty of ways to play the game, and we gave that to the players. Okay, so same thing. You account for different types of players. Some people want a story. Some people want a quick game. Some people want to massacre their friends online. So give them that, right? And then yeah, so one of our research was a lot of people actually want to play offline because if your game is actually online and or needs to be connected online, and you're at work, people can't play them. So they want options to actually play even if they're not connected. Moving forward, so it's a free-to-play game. You hear about crafting and breeding and stuff like that. So these options are actually expected for these games. And for us, it's a very important because people buy booster packs from your games, or in our case, in-app purchases, right? And we want to give them options on what they can do with the units or characters that they don't find useful or what they don't want. So people can just craft or change them into something else. Okay. And then mobile players are also expressive. This is very important to understand because sometimes, I mean, especially for mobile, especially for the App Store, we always ask them to make reviews. And sometimes if they don't like the game, they'll definitely go to the review panel and basically flame your game or diss it. But if you actually hide it within the game, and basically they can just express their sadness when experiencing the game, they can just contact you directly from the app, and they don't have to post anything on the review board. So basically, make use of that. Use your community so that they can actually talk to you and give you feedback, give you suggestions on how to improve your game. Okay, so key takeaways so far: mobile players, we're designing for busy people. We're designing for people who just want to play and they want options, and people who are expressive. Okay, so this entire talk is really just what we're going through right now. Later on, I'm hoping to share what I actually learn as we create our own live ops team and bring it out to market, what we do with user acquisition and so on. So it's a small part right now, and the reason why I went on this talk was to share with you what we're going through, and maybe we can exchange stories and see what happens from there. Okay, that's my talk so far. Do you guys have any questions? Yes, sir.
What do you plan in terms of marketing your game after this?
Okay. We're looking at two options at the moment. One is to partner up with a publisher who will help us get it out there and basically help us acquire users. But obviously, we're not sure if that's going to happen because we have to go through a lot of meetings and do our own research and so on and so forth. So we're also, at this time, we're also building our own community already. Even with or without the publisher, we should be able to stand on our own. So yes, we've started going on forums. We've started our Facebook page. We've started our site. We've been populating those portals with our information. We've been approaching review sites or blogs to basically feature and preview our game so that people around the world can actually check it out. This June, we're actually going to start opening tests, inviting people to test our game because we just finished our PvP online mode, and I'd love to have people actually check it out so that see if it works. It's also our way to test if our servers can actually hold. At the same time, get feedback from people because we're catering to the people who love these types of games, and I'm sure they have suggestions like, okay, I wanna. Wouldn't it be great to have this kind of character in the game, or wouldn't it be, or a mecha in our games too powerful, and we need help for actually balancing it. So it's our way also to basically flood the market with the game, so that they start talking about it as early as now, so that when we do release a game, there's already anticipation for it. So that's how we're doing right now, two ways: indie and publishers. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Since there are no questions, I'd like to take this opportunity that since we purposely made our game to cater to a lot of different themes, here actually I have a slide here. We are cross-promoting. what we're thinking of is basically help all of the other games out there, and we help each other out. If you have a game, and there are a number of you guys here, and you have a character, we'd love to feature them here in the game. You would be able to we would be able to create your character, put it in the game, put special characters, special powers, and then once they're there, people can access it, and then we will also push them towards your game. So I think it would be cool to have a lot of different types of themes and games, or characters in the game. Okay, so if you guys are interested about that, please let me know. I'd be happy to talk to you about it. Are there any more questions? Publishing strategy. Oh, well, we're doing right now. I'm actually in that part where I'm researching on a lot of those things. I've been involved in production so long, and I have to switch. Sorry, production and creative so long that I have to switch modes. To actually do that, business, publishing, and so on and so forth. I've mentioned earlier that if we do self-publish, that's what we're doing. We're creating anticipation for the game by showing bits and pieces of the game as we go continuously, taking care of the community. Whoever shows interest in the game at this early stage, they take care of it. But they reply, they give you comments and reply back. Get their feedback and suggestions so that they turn into loyal customers later on, and they can actually tell their friends about it. It's really a virtual or a viral strategy, I believe, for independent publishing your game independently without publishers. It's hard, and I don't see any magic formula for it. And that's what I've been listening to a lot of panels here. So that's what they normally do. And where do we release? To answer your question, based on research, Australia sounds good. New Zealand sounds good. Singapore, Thailand, and the Philippines as well. So at some point, we're going to start releasing to those countries and see what happens from there. Okay. Yes, sir. Oh, well, right now we're talking to SoftLayer, and we're figuring that out. But yes, I imagine that we are. You have to imagine. I mean, you have to understand. We came from an outsourced. We're coming from an outsourced model, and we typically just develop our own game. Sorry, a game for a client, and they normally figure out that part. So yeah, you know what? Let's talk later. Exchange emails. I can tell you more about it as we go through it, and then maybe we can exchange notes from there. So yeah. Any other questions? Really? No more? Okay. Okay, thank you very much.